Morning, Justice Warriors. How are you guys? I am just kicking myself because I set the time wrong. I set it for 8:45 p.m. instead of a.m. So anyway, at 8:45 a.m. when I sat down to join you guys and I saw that nobody was here, I was like, "What? There were so many people waiting for me yesterday. What's the deal?" And then I noticed what I did wrong. So I'll just go ahead and get started, you guys. It's just mind-boggling. You know how I like to start. Everything I say is simply my opinion, and it's simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, to be educational, and it's made specifically for YouTube, which is an entertainment platform. So I think it's important to cover that too. Um, in talking about the Idaho 4 case, I'm really getting sick of shenanigans. A couple of weeks ago, I was really sick of all this weird stuff going on with the criminal defendant. Hey, Sherry. Good morning. Thanks for saying hi. Um, so, Sherry, have you noticed that we have not only the criminal defendant's attorney, Ann Taylor, had represented um, Xana Kernoodle's mother, whose name is Kara Northington. Kara Northington just did an interview yesterday or last night with Newsnation with Ashley Banfield, and I put it in my description. I put the link to it. So she just found out yesterday, apparently, that her attorney was the criminal defendant's attorney and no longer her attorney. She found out from a friend who'd seen it like in the media or something. Hey, Pixie Knickers. Good morning. Good morning to both of you. I'm going to just start out. Hey, everybody. Katie Van. Just going to start with pinning because if I don't start pinning, then sometimes I'll forget to be pinning. So, Kara Northington, Xana's mother, and I can't believe, did I actually call her Xana May yesterday? That's what my mod said. So I made a correction in my comments. But even when I rewatched it, I didn't catch it. So maybe my mod imagined it. If I did that, I apologize profusely. Xana Kernodle, her mother, Kara Northington, that was arrested on drug charges, had actually had Ann Taylor as her attorney 3 previous times. So this was the 4th time that Ann Taylor had been her court-appointed attorney. And in speaking to Ashley Banfield last night, she was devastated. She was absolutely devastated on a very human level. She thought that Ann Taylor actually cared about her and her issues. So she's feeling pretty betrayed, which I can't imagine already having your child's life taken and then that type of betrayal. You know, it's just so wrong. Alistair Grant. Good morning, Justice. Hello, America. Good morning, America. So, Ann Taylor, it turns out somebody was saying it in the chat yesterday, so I want to give you credit. I'm not organized enough to have written down who it was that said it, so you guys can fill me in if you remember. But I'll get it eventually. So Corey Mogan Hatrock, who is Maddie Mogan's stepmom, married to her father, she was also arrested, I believe, around the same time as Kara Northington. But Ann Taylor was also her court-appointed attorney. So Ann Taylor, it sounds like, was court-appointed attorney for 2 of these victims' mothers, one biological mom, one stepmom. And I believe they're both arrested on drug charges. So if that's incorrect, somebody could put that in the comments. If you guys want to Google it and double check, I've been Googling a lot of stuff. So, hey, good morning, Four Frogs Fat Asses. I can't say that name without laughing. So let's see. Oh, hey, Phantasmic Ether. How are you? So, it's just wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And why would they even do that? It's so not only inhumane, it's unethical. And it's very likely 100% illegal in pretty much every state other than maybe Idaho. But to me, it feels like absolute rubbish. It feels like, how do I say it? Bullshit. That's how you say it. It's absolute bullshit. Hey, Annie Ruler, help me out with this, please. And Sherry Irvin says, shouldn't that attorney know this is against the rules? Well, Idaho has their own flippin' rules and laws and lack thereof. But if it's not illegal in the state of Idaho, it's still unethical. And even if these two, Corey and Kara, were to sign waivers, which I don't think they would, but even if they were to sign waivers saying it was okay with them, it's still unethical. It's 100% unethical. And I think in every other state in the union, I think it would be illegal as well. So I'm getting really sick of Idaho and their wild, wild west shenanigans. You guys, I brought up that guy yesterday, so I had to look him up because you can't just say that guy, right? We talked about him a few weeks ago, and other channels have talked about him too. James Curtis Leonard, who was arrested on December 6th of 2022. And he's an ex-con, and he was arrested. He lived a mile away from where the multiple stabbings took place. He's 39 years old. He got arrested for beating his wife and beating her kids and threatening to stab himself. This man, if you can call him a man, I call him a weasel, James Curtis Leonard, when he was in his 20s, he shot and killed his friend, Tyler Lee Pace, because they were fighting over chicks and stuff, And then that county coroner, Kathy Mabott, who is, the county coroner for all four of the Idaho four, she was his hired private criminal defense attorney. And she was able to get his sentence pled down, a plea agreement to second-degree murder instead of voluntary manslaughter. The voluntary manslaughter was dismissed. I want to say he served 2 years, but it was pretty much exactly 15 years before the homicide that he was sentenced to 15 years for, but he only had to serve like somewhere around 2 years. It could be less, but I'll just say 2 years, give or take, right? 2 years-ish. So then he's, out on parole for 13 years. And then he does this right at the end of the parole. Beat his wife and her kids and threatened to stab himself. It's like, dude, go ahead, stab yourself. Really? So anyway, my point in bringing this up is how ridiculous that is, that woman, the Latch County coroner, Kathy Mabott, was the coroner for the victim's autopsy of James Leonard Curtis's victim back in, I wrote it down, 07. So he shot Taylor Pace Lee in 07. And I had said stabbed, so I apologize for the misinformation. He had shot this guy. They were like, I think the killer was 25 and the man who was murdered was 24. And they were like, the murdered one had been sleeping with the killer's girlfriend or something like that. But there were, wives and kids and threats. And I think the killer threatened, I don't even want to say, because I don't want to be incorrect. Just a mess, a hot mess, and drugs, lots of drugs, right? Okay. Let's see. Nice way to see a smile first thing in the morning. Just have a crazy name. That's cute. If not legal, it should be an ethical, moral issue. That's just sleazy. And how devastating for these families. And I'm thinking not just the families that of Maddie and Xana, but the other two families as well, to see that the justice, I mean, let's call it injustice, to see the injustice system working, not working. I mean, just completely dysfunctional, in my humble opinion. Conflict of interest. What? I'm really upset about it. Yes, unethical. That's the word I was looking for. And like I said, I'm pretty sure it's illegal in every state in the union other than Idaho. Idaho is like its own thing, that whole libertarian thing. 100% great reason for appeal trial to be given. And Annie, in an appeal, there's double jeopardy. You can't try somebody for the same murder twice, in my understanding. So it would just be insane. Like, I think people are starting to make a big stink. I think the families are making a big stink. I think the public's making a big stink. But I think the bigger the stink, the better. I think emails and phone calls and petitions, maybe. I mean, this is insane. I really like the way you are honest and upfront about opinion. Aw, that's nice, David. Thanks. And good morning, Rhonda. Brian must feel like a cat that ate the canary. Katie, I'm really wondering what's going on with this. I mean, early on, when the two moms were arrested for drug charges right after the quadruple unaliving, there was a lot of speculation that it was like a cartel kind of thing, right? And people want to say, oh, that's conspiracy theory. There's just no way. Really? Because that style of unaliving is cartel style. It's very much like a hit, very much like an execution, but not with a gun. So it's not looking good to me. In my opinion, it's looking like that's actually a possibility. Like, what the heck is going on with these colleges, with these police departments, with the drugs? I mean, we know that we have all these drug addicts getting arrested and then getting, like the guy, James Curtis Leonard, obviously a hot mess and addicted to drugs. So, you've got police informants, right? Confidential informants, they call them CIs. Every police department has CIs all over the community. And those are usually drug addicts that they will give leniency to in exchange for information. So, let's see. So yeah, you said the thing about Brian must feel like a cat that ate the canary. And Katie Van, to me, Brian so far appears guilty of touching a sheath and driving in circles. Hello. Oh my goodness. I am so, how do I say it? Because yeah, that is what he is, what it appears that he is 100% guilty of, potentially, allegedly. But I certainly don't want to come off like I'm trying to defend the criminal defendant or like I care about him. I don't care about him. If he's guilty of these things, then he deserves the death penalty, in my humble opinion. However, I care about the process. I care about if indeed he's guilty and he's found guilty in a court of law and then he gets off on a technicality, those things happen. Those things happen, and it's almost like it's a setup. It's almost like I'm saying it's almost like it's a setup. I'm being generous. It's a setup to have that attorney be his attorney, two of the moms, both at the same time, both right after the homicide. So they knew that these mothers had these murdered daughters. They both had the same attorney. You guys can double check me, make sure I'm accurate with all this, because I don't want to be inaccurate. Please double check me if you feel like it. And then to get taken off of those cases and put onto the killer's case, the accused killer, not in your wildest dreams. Somebody wanted to send a message, Bethany Bug. Well, that's usually how it's done. And it's usually about money. It's usually like people owe money and then the dealers send a message. In Cali, they get automatic appeal investigation for appeal trial. They are not declared innocent, but granted a new trial like they almost did for Lacey Peterson's criminal defendant. Not new trial, not double jeopardy. Okay, good to know, Annie Ruler, because I was so upset about the thing with Lacey Peterson's criminal defendant. I like the way you said that. Coming back up into the news, I completely ignored it altogether. I was just like, I'm not gonna go there because what a joke. So I don't know what the they almost did. Okay, they didn't do it. They almost did it. Because, yeah, that was in the news a few months ago. And I was just like, not reading any of it. I can't. I mean, and again, I was really focused on Kylie Rodney's case, which I want to refocus on. That's very important to me. And this whole Moscow 4 is just as important to me. It's serious injustice, serious victimization. There's something going on here. I'm not trusting the system in these cases. I'm not trusting the system of Nevada County Sheriff and Placer County Sheriff. I'm not trusting this Latch County coroner who thinks it's okay to be the coroner on a murdered individual and then defend that individual's murderer. Like she's trash as far as I'm concerned. In my opinion, that woman is trash. And yeah, Bethany Bug, David says agreed. Yeah. Right. And that was a lot of people's knee-jerk reaction to the situation. And you want to give it time, you want to let investigation happen. But again, trust your instinct. A lot of times your first impression is absolutely accurate. Alistair Grant says, wait till he gets life, which he will start singing like a canary because he thinks he's got one up on everyone, in my opinion. So you think that he'll start flipping on people? Annie Ruler says, laugh my butt off, David. Hey, Sifa, good morning. Oh my goodness, I haven't sent you a thank you email yet. Oh, you're so awesome. You're such an amazing artist. And I haven't had a chance to look at your website. Thank you for sending that to me. And if you can try to put it in the comments here, I can try to copy and paste it so that people can go to it. That would be great because I'm sure a lot of people want to check your stuff out. And I don't think I have a mod here yet. Annie Ruler says, feels to me like the M investigation found moms and drugs. The M investigation, are you saying Moscow? Is that the Moscow investigation? The injustice is sickening. Oh, I've got a couple for you guys. I've got one or two more articles that I would like to read to you. Let me know if it's annoying to have me read you articles because a lot of people like the news being read to them. I certainly don't want to read what I'm saying to you guys. Like I like to be authentic and just have a conversation. But there's some of these articles that I feel like are really important. He would have been released during trial. Oh, who would have been released during the trial? Are you talking about Lacey Peterson's criminal defendant? Serious conflict of interest. I'm afraid the Kylie case is done and dusted. I don't think it is. I mean, I don't think I'm living in a fantasy world, but I do not think it is. The federal authorities allegedly still have an open case, and the California Highway Patrol still has an open case. So they're still trying to figure out how the car got in the water, as far as I know. But yeah, I mean, even when cases are closed, it's harder, much harder. But when a case is closed, cases get reopened. We all know that. But it is rare, and it's an uphill battle for sure. And then just because they get reopened, it doesn't mean you're going to get justice, unfortunately. Um, Annie Ruler says, I feel like this Idaho case is bad movie set up to retry. No FUDS and all the other stuff is distracted from, such as were cops given protection money. Yeah, the more time that goes by, the less I know about this case. Interesting, David. That's an interesting paradox, isn't it? Yeah, I feel you. I definitely feel you. Dilly Owen says, me too, David. It's like we didn't know nothing now. We're inundated with information. I think he will talk before then. He said he can't wait to be exonerated. Who knows what Brian is thinking? That lawyer represented Xana's mom 3 times before she dropped her last cast. So they have a long, right, Rhonda. I was getting into that. And also somebody brought it up in the chat yesterday. She was also the defense attorney court appointed for Maddie's stepmom, Corey Mogan Hatrock, who was also allegedly arrested for drug charges around the same time as Kara Northington, Xana's mom, right? Um, so let's see. Yeah, highlight that one. I know. So it's her 4th time, and honestly, Kara Northington, in the interview that I have linked in the description with Ashley Banfield from Newsnation yesterday, she doesn't look like a well person. She looks like she probably has medical issues on top of addiction issues. But she's still a person, and she's still valid, and her feelings are valid, and her experience is valid, and she still deserves justice in our justice system like anybody else. Um, she definitely seems like she's living in a lot of pain. It's been public that she didn't really have a working relationship with Xana, and that happens with a lot of people and their kids and their parents for various reasons. And in this case, it was probably because of the drugs and the criminal activity. Um, but coupling that with the 8 hours that it took for the 2 surviving roommates to call 911, it's not looking good, is it? I don't have to say anything about that. I mean, putting 2 and 2 together is really simple right there. Okay. Um, Rhonda R says, oh, long history, right? So let me read that because I pinned it and you just finished the last end of the sentence. I think he will talk before then, and he said he can't wait to be exonerated. Who knows what Brian is thinking? That lawyer represented Xana's mom 3 times before she dropped her last case. So they have a long history, right? This was the 4th time. And Kara Northington said in this interview yesterday that she was devastated, that she found out yesterday through a friend who saw it in the media. So it's been going on for 3 weeks and she didn't know. 21 days. So yesterday it would have been the 20th day. I would love to see Kylie Rodney family and friends be held accountable for their action. It is my opinion it was for money. Well, and it could be the same type of situation. Yeah, it could be the same type of situation. You've got the community, the law enforcement, they're all in on the take. They all cover for each other. And it's not an isolated incident in Nevada County, Placer County, right? I mean, that happens pretty much across the country in every community, unfortunately. Um, so, yeah, you always follow the money. You always, always, always follow the money. Sifa says, Power to the people can help open a case once it's closed. But yes, it's hard, but it is possible. So we are lucky her case is still open for now. Sorry, I'm still waking up. I hope I make sense. Absolutely. Making tons of sense. Perfect sense. She just wanted a high profile case, in my humble opinion. Right. And yeah, I mean, criminal defense attorneys, they're making good money because pretty much every attorney makes good money, but they're not raking it in hand over fist the way you do when you have a book deal with a situation like this. That's exactly what they do. That's what everybody did in the O.J. Simpson case. That's sort of the plan if you can work it, right? Everybody wants to be rich and famous. It's obvious BK's a narcissist. I really do think, from what I know about him, that he just doesn't think nothing's going to happen to him. Well, if nothing else, he's just playing innocent and playing dumb, but we know that he's probably not either. I mean, in some ways, of course, he's extremely stupid. It's too early to tell. I don't want to be, convicting somebody in my public opinion of guilt when it's up to the courts to decide that. David says, Dilly Owens agreed. I am really wanting to know if Brian knew any other males that knew Kaylee, Madison, Xana, or Ethan. Yep. And Dilly says, wonder that. Also, Bethany Bug, maybe DM thought the person she saw in black was a police officer. I'm here to help you is what she heard. Well, then why did she go into frozen shock phase, as she put it? I think that's her quote, frozen shock phase. Let me read you guys this article. Like I said, there was a couple, but let me just do the one. If I knew how to use my phone, it would help. All right. So this is about what I was saying about James Curtis Leonard. This was written, this is old, so sorry if that bothers you. May 8th, 2008. It's called, the title of it, it's from the local Daily News, Leonard charged with second-degree murder. James Curtis Leonard has officially been charged with second-degree murder for the June shooting death of Tyler Pace Lee. Leonard, 24, was to face a trial for voluntary manslaughter, but that charge was dismissed just before the trial was slated to begin last week. Prosecutors filed the second-degree murder charge Wednesday in Lata, I don't know how you say that, Lata County District Court. Police allege Leonard shot Lee of Moscow multiple times with a handgun, multiple times, and killed him after a June 19th argument at Leonard's Springer Road home near Genesee. Leonard pled not guilty to the voluntary manslaughter charge in August. Lee's ex-girlfriend, Amanda Draper, testified during an August preliminary hearing that Lee threatened to kill her, Leonard, and Leonard's wife after learning Leonard had an affair with Draper. Draper also testified that Lee said he would RAPE Leonard's wife in front of Leonard before killing them. The motion for dismissal of the voluntary manslaughter charges stated that the new information had come to light in the case. An affidavit of Detective Margaret Lembecker filed Friday states that she spoke April 22nd to Lee's sister, who said Draper had told several different stories about what happened the morning of June 19th. One story indicated Lee had caught Draper and Leonard having sex. Lembecker interviewed Draper again, April 23rd. According to the affidavit, Draper said she did not have sex with Leonard that morning, but said they were messing around and Lee may have seen them. Lembecker's affidavit also states that Sonny I hate names, are so hard when you've never seen that name in your life. I didn't even pick it up when I read through it the other times. Sonny Namu. I should try reading it out loud before I read it to you guys. Who lived at the Springer Red home with Leonard, told Idaho State Police officer in July that Leonard tried to dispose of Lee's body. Namu said Leonard asked him for a shovel, which Namu gave him. Namu said he did not help Leonard with the body. Leonard's preliminary hearing has been scheduled for 10 a.m. So despite the fact that he was trying to hide the body, he still got sentenced to a pretty light sentence, 15 years, and released after 2, I believe. So again, my point in sharing that, even though it's old, is that this is the wild freaking West. That guy was the guy that was arrested a few weeks, less than 3 weeks after the quadruple homicide. And people thought, oh, maybe it's him because he's, a convicted murderer and he had a knife. He was threatening to cut himself and he was a mile away. So, why do you want people like that running around your town free? That's what I don't understand. The Idaho case followed the money for deceased as well as accused. Nice vehicles, college paid, 4 dead, 2 survivors, and 1 accused. Income. I agree, Ms. Ruler. Absolutely. David says if you can lock a door, you can call 911. Right. I give her a lot of leeway that, she was in a frozen shock phase. She was PTSD trauma. Maybe her phone wasn't charged. Maybe she didn't have it in her room with her. But the calling the friends in the morning to come over well before calling the police. And again, this is my big point to hit home. Public record, sunshine law, that 911 call needs to be released. The initial 911 call at 11:58, who made that call? And what did they say? What is it that they're trying to hide? Why is that not being released? That's what's really important. And who were the people that were there other than Ethan's triplet brother and sister, other unnamed people, and what were they doing? And why were they delaying making that call? Hold on. This is from my mod. It says restricted content. I don't know if she's talking about me. Your comments on live are turned off. Why? It says restricted comment. I'm going to say not sure if they are. I think she's incorrect because you guys are all commenting. I don't know if she's talking about one of the videos from yesterday. No, she's talking about on this live. So she just can't see it for some reason, but obviously you guys can. So Maud, I don't know, maybe you're having trouble with your connection or something. Nice to know you're watching. Thank you. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of people in chat. So just check out your connection there. It's not letting me put the website in any form in the chat. I even tried to spell it out without any dots. Well, sorry, Sifa. I will put it in the comments, and then I'll also try to put it in the afternoon chat if we don't get a mod in here to figure that out for us. That's so weird. An officer, I'm going to highlight that one because, yeah, I really want to share that with everybody so everyone can check out your stuff. We can all check it out together. Rhonda R says an officer would have ID'd their self. They wouldn't have been creeping through the sliding door. She would have guard him, say, I'm officer so-and-so, I'm here to help you. Okay, yeah, Rhonda R says, I don't know where the herd ties in to your sentence. All right, but yeah. Oh, okay. She would have heard him instead of guard him. Gotcha. Okay, I've figured that out. Alistair Grant says, I'm going back to when the burger guy was doing the thing about how to get away with murder. Did someone take him up on his arrogance? And who was it? As it's too random for me. Right, Alistair, you're referring to when he was advertising, was it on Reddit? I think it was on Reddit. It might have been a different platform, asking criminals those questions about the crimes that you've committed and how did you plan it and how did it feel and how did you get there and how did you get away and what was your whole thought process like. And we've been told that those types of surveys are typical for this type of work. I have a question, you guys. I have a big question. And I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. But then I forgot to look. Let me read through these and then get to my big ass question because it's huge. So yeah, it sounds like he was reusing an old survey when it wasn't really relevant, right? It sounded like he was using that survey just this past summer. But I'm sure he could say it was relevant. Let's see. Here's a comment for a test. Thank you. And if she really thought it was a cop, it wouldn't have took 8 hours to call 911. And if it was a cop, they would have first responders there. Right. Except if there's like a deep, deep, dark conspiracy going on. I'm just saying anything's possible. I'm not saying that that's what I think. But if it were a cop on the take in a deep, dark conspiracy, then they would not want first responders there until they had a chance to clean up or plant evidence or whatever. Yes, why hide a 911 call? Right. It's not legit. And again, Idaho does what Idaho does. Yeah, it's still working. Everybody, yeah, my mod is just having issues, but there she is. Kale, can you get SIFA's website address and drop it in the chat? That would be so awesome if you can. If you can't, that's okay. I was going to put it in the comments after. But if you're able to do that, that would rock. Let's see. YouTube auto deletes hyperlinks in my experience. Right. But he was saying he was even trying to do it without making it a hyperlink and it wasn't allowing it. She heard not guard. Right. Gotcha, Rhonda. I'm just catching up. Ann Taylor's conflict of interest in representing BK just gives him an automatic argument for an appeal. He can say she was biased in representing him due to her closeness with Xana's mom. Xana and Maddie Mogan's stepmom, allegedly. Yeah, it's just weird because I didn't put in the hyperlink format. You used to be able to do it if you spelled it out in the past. So, oh, there we go. Kale got it. I'm going to highlight that. Oh, it went straight to it when I tried to highlight it. Phew, I thought I lost you guys. I lost you guys on my screen, but I don't think it showed you guys that. Okay, phew, got it back. There's the hyperlink. Thank you, Kale. Thank you, Sifa. Check out Sifa's artwork. Now, when it went to your website accidentally for just a second there, the face that I saw, was that you? Was that an art piece of yourself, like a self-portrait? Isn't that what they're called? Took me a minute. I haven't had enough coffee yet. Was that a self-portrait, Sifa? That was really cool. It's probably not working, Sifa. You have to be a mod to post links, right? 10-4. I didn't do it in a link form, right? The older guy at the bar, there's your answer. I know, Alistair. And why aren't more people talking about that? Why aren't more people demanding to know who the man without a face is? And why Jack D was sitting there talking to the girls and then keeping that information out of the public arena for 2 months. 2 months. I mean, it was a month and a half. It was December 27th that picture leaked. That screenshot of the surveillance camera leaked. Who leaked it? Somebody from the bar leak it, or somebody from the police department leak it? I mean, I don't think there's a third option. I mean, there might be, but who leaked it? How did they leak it? Why did they leak it? Why, when that was determined to be Jack, I think allegedly on the streets of the interwebs, was December 29th. I wasn't even biting. I wasn't buying that at all. It wasn't until just a couple weeks ago with the Gonzalez family reiterating again and again that, yes, that was Jack. He was sitting there talking with them. And we know that Jack Showalter is standing there nearby, hoodie guy, Jack S. And then we got Adam working at the bar, sitting by the door. And then we got the middle-aged guy in between them, looking exactly like the police chief at 1:30 in the morning before the dreadful deeds occurred. All right, where are we at? So thanks so much for posting that, Kale. That was awesome. Unfortunately, I see a lot of ways for him to get out of jail free. Ugh. And watch Brian say he wants new lawyer if he starts feeling he's losing this case because his lawyer is one of the victim's mom's previous lawyer. Right. Two of the victim's moms. Mom and stepmom. Faceless man makes cops protection for dealers look true. It's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly. And I don't understand why that's not like news on Newsnation. You know, those people, I think they do really good work. That channel, and Ashley Banfield and Brian Enton, and there's a couple other ones too whose names I'm not remembering. Brian Enton and Ashley Banfield, I know, did a lot of work. Ashley on the Kylie Rodney case, Brian Enton on the Gabby Petito case. They've really earned my respect, that's for sure. In my opinion, it was Adam. Alistair Grant says Adam that was involved. And what is this? Oh, Kale says, my guess is SF Investigates. The man without a face. The man without a face looks of a smaller stature, very similar build and height to Mr. James Fry, in my opinion. SF Investigates is tall, very tall, and has like big, shall I say it, Sasquatch arms. Like really huge arms, like long, giant arms. In my opinion. Picture likes, it's your likes. Didn't Jack live a hop, skip, and a jump from their home? Not even a hop, skip, and a jump, just a hop. Yeah, just right across the street. He sure did. And he would have full view of their house 24/7, 365. So yeah, I mean, maybe the criminal defendant's involved, but maybe the other people in that surveillance photo are involved directly or indirectly. We need to know. I mean, if that's all information that's being kept secret for the trial, for the integrity of the trial, that's one thing, but public safety is what balances that out. You need to let information out so that the public can keep themselves safe, like that 911 call. With him, it's possible he's corrupt for sure. Oh, yes. Sifa's talking about SF Investigates. He's cray-cray. In my humble opinion, Dilly Owens, what would that big white diesel truck that goes past him and parks in the parking spot that time of night? Yeah, I didn't know that was a diesel truck, but it sure does look like one. Yeah, who's driving that truck and why did they pull over in the slanted parking, the angled parking space right behind Maddie, Kaylee, and Hoodie Guy as they were walking past. Let's see. SF investigates, just the mention I feel got me, shadow banned or timed out. Yeah, absolutely. I would believe that, Annie Ruler, for sure. I want to know how they are okay with somebody changing their alibi 3 times. That's what I want to know too. And I don't even think he's changed it to what the family has said he was actually doing. He had the alibi that he stayed in that night and went night early, and his buddy roommate said, yeah, we didn't see him leave. We were sitting here playing video games all night. He would have had to walk past us going out and coming in. So they said he didn't leave the house, right? They said that he didn't leave his residence. And then the story came that he was at his parents' residence about 90 minutes away in Coeur d'Alene. And then this third alibi, but I don't think he's claimed his third alibi. Yeah. It was on Reddit, Kale says, and I'm not sure what Kale is referring to. Oh, the SF investigates? Well, and things like Reddit a lot of times are just a whole bunch of hype, and a lot of times they're spot on. So it's hard to know what's what. What was everything that Maddie told Adam? And David, I am curious about if that audio is even genuine audio, that they're trying to implicate Adam, or I don't know. I don't know. I mean, let's just say it is genuine audio. Yeah, it's weird. I'm very suspicious of it for many reasons, but I think the number one reason is because how clearly they say atom, which some of my viewers really love the way I say it, right? Atom, what did you tell Atom? I told Atom everything. Good morning, Xena and Warriors. Waking up, orangutan arms. Thank you, Sifa. My brain was having trouble even coming up with Sasquatch. It took me a moment there. Orangutan is much more accurate. Oh, so nice to get a good laugh. That really is a great way to start the day. Good discussion channel right here, David. Thank you. That's so nice. Kale says we need to wait for her testimony at trial to understand all of our questions. And I don't know if you're talking about her testimony. Oh, are you talking about Dylan? Is that her? Good morning, Jenny Tooney says, my question, can we do anything to stop or slow corruption? I really want your thoughts on Christian, and I don't know anything about the Christian Andrea Chino case. It's not leaving my heart and needs justice. If I can find my pen, it's right here. I can write that down and try to look it up. Where did it go? Did I miss it? There we go. Highlight that one. Christian Andrichinio. Don't know anything about it. If you want to share, Christian Andre Chin EO. Have not heard that name, I don't think. Haley's parents did an interview. They said Jack was with them right after the murder, sleeping on their couches, wearing shorts. They made him showing his arms and everything else. Not right. Well, yeah, the next day, Dilly. That is what they said. So Kaylee's parents, not Haley. Kaylee's parents did an interview, and they said Jack was with them. I think it was the following day that he drove to Coeur d'Alene. The next day, they didn't say what time he got there. I don't think they said, unless they said it was afternoon, but it sounded like it was afternoon. But that he you know, showed them his arms and hands, and the sister said he was even wearing shorts. That doesn't mean that he didn't have any involvement directly or indirectly. That just means that he didn't have any marks on him, in my opinion. So, sleeping on their couches. I didn't hear the part about him sleeping on their couches, but maybe he spent the night that night. I don't know. Um, Dilly Owen says, I don't know nothing about trucks and cars. It just sounded like a diesel. Well, and yeah, a big pickup like that probably is usually a diesel. I think I know a little bit about them. Um, where'd we go? I'm sure he could have went out his bathroom window. He wouldn't have had to walk past the roommates. It was Crime Circus who noted how easy it would have been to walk off of the roof of the place, the residence where he lived, right onto the grass. And there had been a lot of videos showing people hanging out on the roof of his house and doing exactly that. So yeah, very easy access because of the hill that the house was built next to. So the roof is really close to the grass, the grassy knoll, right? um, let's see, where are we here? Heavenly Clouds. This is interesting. The only thing that got me about Jack D is how sneaky he looked at the memorial services and changing his story as to where he was that night. Right. I still can't get over that look that the dad gave to him, and how he was staring down the dad, and just how awkward it all was. Am not convinced that he didn't have anything to do with anything. I'm really not. Just my opinion. Not gonna apologize for that because, leave no stone unturned, and he needs to explain himself. He needs to explain why he was, did he use the fake alibi with the police, or did the police use the fake alibi with the public? What's up with that? The so yeah, and Kaylee's parents checked for damages on JD does not mean if someone offered to help, he may have taken them up on it. The phone call about Sigma Chi boys are asking how to get away with red rum. Um, Right. And the fact that they checked his arms, I mean, even that can look implicating that they didn't trust him, that they wanted to see, or that he was trying to prove something to them. I mean, just because he did that, that doesn't mean he's innocent. Absolutely doesn't mean he's innocent, in my humble opinion. Rhonda R., they might not have her testify. They really could rip her apart, asking her about drug use, etc. Right? Well, I mean, a lot of it is, it's a game of chess, and trying to get uh, a confession, trying to get a plea bargain, as they say. Um, Look at Brian Laundrie. His parents straight up lied about Gabby's whereabouts. Yeah, that's such a sad case. And it's so wonderful that Gabby's parents continue to seek justice for their daughter. Suing everybody, suing the freaking lawyer, suing the Moab PD, these places with the systematic bullshit need to be sued. Suing is the only way to get systems to change. It's not about the money, it's about justice. And money is how we do that in our culture. That's also how you beat somebody up legally, is you just sue them. Right? You can't, duke it out in the parking lot. You just have to take them to court. Filing a lawsuit is the equivalent of kicking somebody's butt, in my opinion. Yeah. Rhonda, I know people will lie for their kids. Absolutely. or maybe even lie for their kids' boyfriends. It's definitely a possibility. That is a 2014 case, Christian and Dracino. All right. Thank you, Kale. I'll look it up. We have to keep an open mind and not go right to the nothing burger is guilty. Innocence is presumed until then. Absolutely. Yes. Sassafras says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sassafras. We are probably getting close to the hour. And let me read a couple more of your comments and then double check my notes before we say goodbye until this evening. I made a mistake when I posted for this live last night. I put 8:45 p.m. instead of a.m. And so I fixed that and made it 9 o'clock because I was like, why is nobody here? And then I saw what I did and changed it. And then I went ahead and I made my announcement trailer already for tonight. What did I say? 6:30, I think, is the time that I selected. 6:30, 6:45. I think it was 6:30. Anyway, so the trailer's already up. So I'm planning to do an evening one like I did last night. And I really don't think that they looked at his arms, maybe said they did, but it doesn't mean it's a fact they did. They said they took photographs even. A Facebook commenter says News Action last night said the reason for criminal defendant to keep Ann Taylor is if found guilty gives him good grounds for appeal. I absolutely agree 100%. And yeah, I put that link to Ashley Banfield's interview with Kara Northington, Xana's mother. I put the link in the comments or in the description of this one that we're on. So it's right there, the hyperlink. Yes, we use money to beat people up. LOLs. Yep, that's how you do it. You hit them in the pocketbook. You hit them where it counts. It took my family 50 years to find out one of my family in Camden County was murdered and abducted. Whoa. Camden County, where's that? Crazy 50 years. And see, now with all this technology and surveillance and everybody's got a video camera with their cell phone, everybody's tracked with their cell phone. We got so much technology. Hopefully that's a thing of the past, that those cases are going to go unsolved for that long or unsolved entirely. Annie Ruligan says mulligan do-over. Yep. Am I buffering? I apologize. I don't know if I was moving my hands. Really good discussion channel. Thank you, Justice AZ and mods. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, let's start to wrap it. This is why I looked at my notes. Xana's mother had given the attorney, Ann Taylor, her power of attorney. So she says that in the Ashley Banfield interview that I have the link for in the description. Xana's mom had given her the power of attorney. So she doesn't even know what's going on with that. The criminal defendant's attorney is still the power of attorney for Xana's mom, as far as Xana's mom knows. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And she did say specifically that she will try to fight it. Ashley Banfield asked her point blank, will you try to fight it? She said yes, but she seemed pretty defeated, like she knows she's has an uphill battle, that she doesn't have the best credibility because of her charges and her history. So, but yeah, hopefully a lot of people will fight it. Well, in my opinion, we need to turn all keys and find who was Berger in communication with. And I mean, everyone. He had help, no doubt about it. And it is closer than we think. That's why it is always a shock. So I had a brain thought and then I forgot. And now I'm remembering again. This was what I said like 20 minutes ago. I have something huge I want to share. When the criminal defendant moved from Pennsylvania to Washington State. Who did he know? Who did he know in Pullman? Who did he know maybe in Spokane? Who did he know in the area? Who did he know at the college? Who did he know at the university? Wazoo. Because in my experience, it is extremely rare for somebody to move across the country by themselves without having a connection to someone, whether that's friend, family, professor, colleague. It just dawned on me last night. I was like, how come I hadn't thought of that? Who did he know? Also, most people don't even apply to doctoral programs if they don't know somebody there, if they're not getting a direct referral, a direct recommendation, or even an invitation. I can't believe I didn't think of this stuff. It's too much information, right? But again, that's why it's good to like take a step back, and then you have these thoughts that you're like, wait a second, you look clear and voice is clear. Wonderful video. So you guys, I think that's the biggest takeaway from this video, and that maybe we can put the word out on the YouTube streets to start pounding the pavement and trying to figure out who the criminal defendant had a tie to before he moved here. That could be so important. That could be somebody in the law enforcement, could be somebody in the university, could be the guy that was SWAT teamed down. You never know. Jetta from Texas, I don't know. I can't get on a bandwagon for the defense. I feel like you're doing your best to get nothing burger charges appealed or dismissed. Keep shredding up evidence and police and witnesses. Xana Mom wants to go to rehab, and her attorney was supposed to help her with that. Right. That, thank you, Heavenly Clouds. That was why she signed over the power of attorney, was for that. Precisely. Thank you so much. Social Butterfly says, I swear this reminds me of Truckee corruption, and that's not good. I agree. It looks a lot like Truckee. A lot like Truckee. Vegan. Yeah, most vegans aren't gonna like slash somebody up like that. I mean, most people aren't gonna slash somebody up like that, right? I mean, get real. And so for somebody to have the stomach to be able to do that, it's just weird. If it is indeed somebody who is vegan. Jetta from Texas says, I hope he goes to trial at this point, with several channels trying to destroy a character of witnesses and investigating officers, is all I'm saying. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. I think that there's a lot that can be read into that. Could be taken a lot of different ways. Connection, BTK, author to study under. Right, but she is at that, I think she's at that school in Pennsylvania, DeSales University, where he got his bachelor's and his master's. And she definitely wrote him a letter of recommendation for his doctoral application. But she probably knows people there and probably introduced him, at least indirectly. Monique, please don't overdo vegan. 100% not, but we value all opinions on this channel. Yeah, we do value all opinions. We don't value any trolls. We don't value anybody being rude. But yeah, all opinions are certainly welcome. Drugs, them seem to be popping up a lot. Was he a drug runner? That's a good question. I'd say that's a very good question. Xena, excellent. Yes. Who was he tied to before the move? Genius. Oh, well, thank you, Heavenly Clouds. I felt kind of silly that it took me so long to think of that. What, this case has only been in the hopper for 2 months. I mean, it happened over 2 months ago, but I didn't get into it for the first few days. I was like, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to look at that case. That case is crazy. That case is too big. It's too overwhelming. It's too nutty. And I just thought that it was a huge distraction, even maybe a fabricated distraction, a choreographed distraction, an organized distraction. Xana's mom, recovery is going to be hard now. Addiction is a horrible thing, and her daughter was just unalived, and her lawyer dropping her for Brian is not good for her recovery. Such a good point. And let me wrap up with what I wanted. I always want to share this with you guys, and I forget to all the time. The thing about not hanging out with people that you don't respect or you don't feel like they have respect for you, in allowing yourself to be around people like that, it really disintegrates your self-esteem, and it can just lead to a lot of basically depression and just a low sense of self-worth. So be sure that everyone around you respects you, and be sure that you respect everyone that you're around, because if you're hanging out with people that you don't respect, you're going to lose some of your self-respect. So that's my high horse 2 cent soapbox advice, unsolicited advice, right? So yeah, it's a really good point, Rhonda. Yeah, it's really, really challenging. A lot of times, though, it takes a horrible, tragic death for somebody to pull themselves together and want to get clean. So hopefully that will be this for Xana's mother. Hopefully. I know there's other siblings. I don't know if Xana's mother gave birth to some of her other siblings or not, but just for her own life, Kara Northington. Yeah, Kara Northington. I remember hearing that Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian. I've never heard that. I know he was a crackhead. He was like the original crackhead. Um, I'm gonna have to rewatch. I was at Squirrels and she was hopping mad, pure fire, very cool. Good deal. That's always good to know. Squirrels on fire. Makes me wonder if there will be a ring of people involved in this horrible mess. That's what I'm wondering. And if any of them will have direct or indirect ties to Truckee. No troll zone. Before they removed all of his real social media, it showed the criminal defendant followed Kaylee for 2 years. I haven't heard this, social butterfly. Let's all check into this if we can and want to. That's crazy. 2 years? Then that would make you think that that's why he moved there. Because he had only moved there in June, as far as I know. We are looking for truth, not conspiracy. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if there are people who conspired together, then that's a conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is an actual conspiracy. So the problem with that word conspiracy is that it's sort of like debunked, that it's just a trash word. Like, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. And it's like, people, if it's more than one person, they conspired. So people conspire all the time. And it's only a conspiracy theory if it's not actually happening. Please state your source, social butterfly. Yes, that would be great if you can state your source. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to hit like, just did, and it's number 25. So thank you, Heavenly Clouds. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe if you'd be so kind. We're way over 3,000. The last time I checked, it was like 3,007. So that's super cool, you guys. Thank you so much. Or his dad knew people in Washington. Good point, Bethany Bug. You are spot on. Or his mom too. Susan Witch Squirrel. Probably the squirrels on fire. Probably Shanda, I'm going to guess. Kate, I have no clue anymore. Oh, Kale, I have no clue anymore. It was on the day he was arrested. People jumped all over his social media. Thank you, Social Butterfly. Hey, poor mom. Looks like she needs a lot of rehab. This is going to set her back years. Right. And at the same time, it might be the catalyst that gets her to pull her life together. It really could be, unfortunately, when things are bad, a lot of times they have to get worse before they can get better. And that's what happens when people lose loved ones and they're suffering from alcoholism or other addictions. and they lose somebody important to them, and it helps them turn their life around. So hopefully. This defense attorney office also defended Madison's mom. Exactly, social butterfly. That was where I started with. Thank you for confirming that, because Madison's stepmom is Corey Mogan Hatrock, and I believe she was arrested around the same time that Karen Northington was, which was just a few days after the quadruple homicide. So it and also for drugs, right? Um, I'll look on the source for that. So which's prosecutor's name need to reach out? Yeah, isn't the prosecutor the guy with the big white Santa beard? I think. If you ever heard of Maud Crawford in Arkansas, a lawyer, that's my relative that was murdered. Huh. Crawford, Arkansas. Thanks, Dilly. So sorry about that. Social butterfly, I swear, is the only defense attorney in that town. Well, the defense attorney, I think, was from like Boise, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I could be incorrect about that. But they can get any, they can fly somebody in if they need to, and they need to. It's a conflict of interests. So, like even with that situation 15 years ago when that guy, James Curtis Leonard, killed Tyler Pace Lee, and the coroner, Kathy Mabbitt, was then hired by James Leonard to be his defense attorney privately. That should never have been allowed. So the fact that Moscow and Idaho allowed that is insane, and it needs to stop, because that's just perpetuating this wild, wild west. Absolutely. Correct. Squirrels on fire. Cool. Thank you. Yes. Thanks, Susan. All right, you guys, here we are, 11 minutes past the hour. So peace out. Have a really good day. I'll see you hopefully this evening about 6:30 or 6:45. I think I put 6:30. But if not, whatever time it says, I will try to be there right on time now that I've learned how to do this whole thing, and I can get right into my live in a jiffy. I'm so proud of my big old self. It only took me 4 months to figure that out. Actually, more like 2 or 3, because when you have a brand new channel, you can't do lives. You're not allowed to do lives until you have like 1,000 subs or 4,000 viewing hours or both. And then you have to apply, and then they grant you permission to do lives. It's just like this big thing. So I was so excited when I got to 1,000 subs and can do my lives. And yeah, that whole time I had no idea how to do the announcement. And it's right there in front of you, but you just have to have somebody walk you through it. And I never did have anyone walk me through it. I just finally figured it out. I didn't even ask Google. I just finally figured it out. I should have asked other people, and I should have asked Google. But thank you. Thanks, you guys. Get your exercise, get your rest, get your sunshine and fresh air if you can. Definitely drink your water, eat well, high protein, high produce, lots of veggies, and some fruit, and just take it easy, treat yourself right, treat everyone around you right, and make sure that everyone around you treats you right. So I'll see you later on this evening. Thanks again. Sending you light and sending you all love. All right. Have a great day.